You can be exhausted and still feel behind. That is the strange part. Nothing dramatic has to happen today. You simply look at your life and feel late. Someone your age buys a house, changes careers, starts a family, or seems calm in a way you cannot fake. Suddenly your own survival looks like underachievement. But the mind rarely compares fairly. It compares your private recovery to somebody else's public milestone. It forgets the weight you were carrying while they were moving. This is not laziness. It is not proof that you wasted your time. Often, feeling behind is what happens when survival quietly took the years that other people used for building. You may have spent whole seasons learning how to stay steady, how to not collapse, how to read danger early, how to keep functioning when no one saw the cost. From the outside, those seasons can look empty. On the inside, they were full of invisible work. The hidden scoreboard does not count that kind of labor. So you start measuring yourself with a ruler that was never built for your life. It measures titles, money, relationships, confidence, and visible motion. It does not measure what it took to answer messages, get out of bed, hold a job, leave a room calmly, or stop repeating an old pattern for one more day. Comparison edits memory. It makes other lives look like straight roads, and makes your own life look like a delay. But you are seeing the brochure, not the weather. Behind is often a feeling, not a fact. It rises when your mind treats someone else's timeline as evidence that your own timeline is defective. The feeling becomes sharper if you grew up needing to earn safety. When love, praise, or peace depended on performance, being ordinary could feel dangerous. Then adulthood becomes a quiet audition. Every milestone seems to ask whether you are finally acceptable. Every delay feels like another mark against you. A promotion is not just a promotion. A relationship is not just a relationship. They become proof, and when proof is missing, shame fills in the blank. That is why good news from someone else can hurt. You may be happy for them and still feel a door closing inside you. Both things can be true. The mind says, if they are there, why am I still here? It turns a friend's progress into a private accusation. It mistakes another person's chapter for your deadline. But survival changes time. When you are managing fear, grief, family pressure, money stress, loneliness, or old shame, time does not feel like open road. It feels like carrying furniture through a narrow hallway. You are moving, but every step takes more effort than anyone passing outside can understand. This is why rest can feel illegal. If you already feel behind, stopping feels like falling farther away. Even peace can sound like a bad investment. So you push, but the pushing does not always create movement. Sometimes it only creates more shame because the nervous system cannot be bullied into safety. There is a difference between motivation and self-punishment. Motivation says, take the next honest step. Self-punishment says, become a different person by tonight. One helps you return to the room. The other makes you hate the room you are in. And hatred is a terrible architect for a future. If you feel behind, the question is not only what have I failed to do? A better question is, what did I have to survive before I could begin? Maybe you were busy becoming less afraid. Maybe you were learning how to tell the truth. Maybe you were unlearning the habit of abandoning yourself to be approved. Those things do not photograph well. They do not always impress strangers, but they change the floor under your life. Some progress is external. It has receipts, announcements, dates, and pictures. Some progress is internal. It is quieter. It looks like choosing differently when no one claps. A life can be rebuilt before it becomes visible. Foundations are usually hidden. That does not make them imaginary. Shame narrows the room. It makes you look only at what is missing. It removes context. It forgets the places where you did not quit. So your mind may need a smaller measure. Not, am I where everyone else is? But, am I less ruled by the fear that used to decide for me? That measure is less glamorous, but it is more honest. It can notice a boundary. It can notice a calm reply. It can notice one clean choice. It can notice that you no longer call chaos love just because chaos is familiar. It can notice that your silence is becoming thought instead of disappearance. This does not mean ambition is wrong. Wanting more is not the enemy. The question is whether your wanting is guided by life or chased by shame. Shame always moves the finish line. Even when you arrive, it says you should have arrived sooner, cleaner, richer, calmer, with fewer needs. That is how a person can achieve something and still feel behind 5 minutes later. The scoreboard was never going to let them rest. You may need goals that do not insult the person who got you here. Goals can be strong without being cruel. A cruel goal says, prove you were worth the delay. A stronger goal says, build from what is true now, with respect for what it cost to get here. Respect changes the pace. It does not make you passive. It makes your effort less desperate, and desperate effort is often too noisy to hear wisdom. Maybe your next step is smaller than your shame wants it to be. One application, one conversation, 1 hour of focused work, one honest budget, one clean no. Small does not mean unserious. Small is how trust returns. The nervous system believes repetition more than speeches. The goal is not to convince yourself that time does not matter. Time matters, but fear makes time look like a courtroom. You are allowed to want momentum without turning your whole life into evidence for the prosecution. You can ask what would help me move without adding what is wrong with me. That missing accusation may be the beginning of real movement, because sometimes the person who feels behind is not actually behind. They are standing at the first honest starting line they have ever had, and that starting line can feel humiliating if you expected yourself to be farther. But it can also be clean. No pretending, no borrowed map. A borrowed map is dangerous because it can make the right life look wrong. It can make someone else's pace feel like your moral instruction. But your life is not late simply because it required repair. Repair is not a detour from life. For many people, repair is the first part of life that is truly theirs. So when the feeling returns, do not argue with it like it is stupid. Listen for the grief inside it. Something in you may be mourning the years that survival needed. That grief deserves respect. But it does not get to write the rest of the story alone. Grief can sit beside you without holding the steering wheel. The next chapter may not begin with a dramatic transformation. It may begin with one private decision to stop using other lives as weapons against your own. Maybe you are not behind. Maybe you are coming out of a long weather system with tools that nobody else can see yet. And maybe the question is not, why am I so late? Maybe the question is, what can I build now that I no longer have to survive in the same way?